पास 0 कर देना और ट्रेबल फुल कर देना, और वॉल्यूम बहुत बड़ा मत रखना, तो ब्रेक होता है। थोड़ा ऊपर, थोड़ा ऊपर। हरे कृष्ण। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीर वनचारी, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जयो राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे, जयो श्री गोपाल जयो श्री गोपाल। जयो गौरनिताय जयो गौरनिताय। ओके, यस Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome to, today we will read from Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse numbers 8 and 9. So first we'll read verse 8. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jhayo ya karmanah shariryatrapi chate na prasidayet akarmanah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Purport: there are many pseudo-meditators who misrepresent themselves as belonging to high parentage and great professional men who falsely pose that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Lord Krishna did not want Arjun to become a pretender. Rather, the Lord desired that Arjun perform his prescribed duties as set forth for Kshatriyas. Arjun was a householder and a military general, and therefore it was better for him to remain as such and perform his religious duties as prescribed for the householder Kshatriya. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. So-called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance is never approved by the Lord, nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul together by some work. Work should not be given up capriciously without purification of materialistic propensities. Anyone who is in the material world is certainly possessed of the impure propensity for lording it over material nature, or in other words, for sense gratification. Such polluted propensities have to be cleared. Without doing so, through prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become a so called transcendentalist, renouncing work and living at the cost of others. We will also take the next verse because the theme is the same. The next verse is Yagnartat karmano anyatra loko yam karma bandhanah tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. Purport is, since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties for a particular social position and quality are so made that that purpose can be fulfilled. Yajna means Lord Vishnu, or sacrificial performances. All sacrificial performances also are meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The Vedas enjoin Yajno vai Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yajna as it is prescribed in this verse. The Varnashrama institution also aims at satisfying Lord Vishnu. So this is mentioned about Vishnu Puran. Okay? Therefore, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be a cause of bondage, for both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reaction binds the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu, and while performing such activities, one is in a liberated stage. This is the great art of doing work, and in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna, or under the direct instruction of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. Yes. So we are dealing with the section from 3.3 to 3.9. Today we are doing 8 and 9. So from 3.3 up to 3.9, the section is dealing with Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma means, see, this working is a very tricky proposition. One thing is, earlier we did the other word, that is, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya akarmakrit karyate yavasha karma sarve prakriti jair gune. That means you cannot remain without working even for a minute, even for a second. Split second you cannot remain without working. Why? That is the nature of the soul. That is our intrinsic nature. Soul is ever active. So you cannot remain without working. And since you cannot remain without working, so obviously you have to engage in work. To say become desireless, become silent is impractical. It doesn't work that way. Something or the other. And if your body is not working, your mind will be going in all directions. The mind is engaged by the soul. So that way, some subtle or the gross body always has to work. It cannot remain motionless, it cannot remain without activity. So therefore, how does this activity affect us? If you do good deeds, you get good thing in return. If you do bad, you get bad in return. So you are always bound by good or bad. It is not important that you must do only good things. Supposing you do only good things, you will be again bound. लोहे की हथकड़ी हो या सोने की हथकड़ी, फिर भी हथकड़ी. Whether you are bound by iron handcuff or a golden handcuff, but you are still bound. So that doesn't give you any benefit. By doing good deeds alone, you are going to escape. No, you cannot escape. I will not do anything bad. Very often people give this message. No, I don't believe in all these things. I don't understand all these things. I know a very simple thing. Be good, do good. But what is good and what is bad differs from person to person. Durbalana balam raja balana rodanam balam sadhuna balam satyam chorana manrutam balam. This is a shloka from the Subhashit. What does it say? Durbalana balam raja. For one who is weak, the king is their strength. He maintains law and order and he protects them. Durbalana balam raja, balana rodanam balam. A child has been crying here for some time. So, balana rodanam balam. That is the strength of the child. बच्चे को जो भी चाहिए रोना पड़ेगा. If he cries, he will get it. If he doesn't cry, he will not get it. Right? So the strength of the child is in crying. Durbalana balam raja, balana rodanam balam, sadhuna balam satyam. What for the sadhu, what is the strength? He should speak the truth. And chorana mandratam balam. And a thief has to speak lies. That is his strength. So when somebody says, be good, do good, are you a thief or are you a sadhu? Depends on that, what is good. If you are a thief, telling lies is good. If you are a sadhu, speaking truth is good. So, that does not serve the purpose. Therefore, we must refer to the standard text, like Bhagavad Gita, where the definition is clearly given. You are given a standard of measurement. According to that, you can measure yourself. Not haphazardly. That doesn't help. So, what is mentioned here, activity is such that it will bind you either ways. Good and bad, both will bind you. Even after doing good activities, you have to take birth again. So this vicious circle of punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janane jathare shayanam, iha sansare bahudustare, kripaya pare pahi murare. So the problem is, you are crying, please save me. I am caught up in this whirlpool of action and reaction. You do something, the reaction follows. Because of the reaction, you have to again act, and again action follows. So the circle goes on. But you are caught up in the cycle of birth and death. No escape from this. So therefore, what is the solution? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate. Mudhamate means, O foolish one. Who is telling this? Shankaracharya. What is he telling? O foolish one, just worship Krishna, Bhaja Govindam. That way, that is the way out. That is the escape route. Otherwise, you will not come. ये भंवर में अटके रहेंगे, बाहर नहीं निकलेंगे. If you want to come out of it, worship Krishna. That is the solution. So, here this Nishkama Karma actually directs one to work for the pleasure of Krishna. Gradually. First is, do not work for results. That is the first stage. Because I want something, so I am working. Work as a duty. No, this is my duty, I will do it. I am not bothered about the result. That is the second stage. Third stage is, okay, I am not bothered about the result, but to whom shall I direct my efforts? So then, direct it to a higher authority. Higher authority is God. So let me work for the satisfaction, for the pleasure of God. So this way, gradually you are elevated from one step to the next, to the next. And this you come to the Nishkam Karma. When you come to the stage of telling, let me work for the pleasure of God, then you are connecting yourself, your activity to God. That becomes yoga. Till then it is only Nishkam Karma. Activity without any expectation of return for oneself. That is Nishkam. Koi काम नहीं. I don't have any this thing. So they say, no, काम काज में लगे हो. So this Nishkam Karma is, काम काज में नहीं, राम काज में लगो. Work for the pleasure of Ram, work for the pleasure of Krishna, work for the pleasure of God. Not काम काज, राम काज. Otherwise it is काम काज. If you are working for God, it is Ramkaj. So you should work for the pleasure of God. Then what happens? What is the reaction? That is the beauty. Akarmanaha, that word is used in the shloka. Akarmanaha means you work, but it will not have any reaction on you. Yani ki your activities will not tie you down. If you are tied down means आप बंदी हो, you are in bondage, you are not free. So when you work for the pleasure of God, what is actually happening is, with every activity you do, you are liberating yourself. This is the process of liberation. So this is a beautiful explanation. And the final verse, verse number 9, to which we read today, is beautiful. Yagnartat karmano. Do your activity for the pleasure of Yagya Purusha. Yagya Purusha is Vishnu. Yagnartat karmano means do your activities for his pleasure, for his benefit. Now you may wonder, ये practical थोड़ी है. I have got a family, I have got to earn money, I have got to maintain my house. How can I do all this for the benefit? I cannot go and donate everything to the temple. So how is it practical? Answer is very simple. What you need to do is introspect. See, one may have a child. So one is working to bring up the child. One has to work, one has to maintain the child, one has to educate the child. It all involves a lot of expenditure. Not only expenditure, care and attention is also required. Your personal care and attention is required. So all your efforts, all your energies are directed towards that. So इसमें भगवान कहाँ से आके टपके बीच में? How does that work? Answer is, understand the child has been given to you by God. Bring God into the picture in every frame. That is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. Be conscious of God in every situation of life. Bring God into the picture. Put Him in the center where He naturally belongs to. Our disease is we have removed God from the center and put ourselves in the center. You have to be God-centric, but we have become egocentric. That is our disease. ये हमारी बीमारी है. This is known as bhava rog. Rog means disease. Bhava means material disease. Bhautik, of this earth. That is our problem. We are caught up in this. So, just as when you are sick, you go to a hospital, but this kind of a sickness is the sickness of the soul, not the sickness of the body. For this, you need a doctor of the soul. And the doctor of the soul is Guru, one who has been sent by God. He is the supreme soul and we are spirit souls. This is our limitation and that is His unlimitation. Unlimited. God is unlimited, we are limited. So He is very compassionate. He understands our suffering. So what He does, He sends a representative of His who comes into our life. Last time, if you remember, I told you the story of Dhruva. Dhruva went into the forest because his mother told him, search for Narayan. And when he went into the forest, who came there? Narad Muni came there. Who sent him? He got any message? WhatsApp message gaya tha kya? Nothing. Nothing. There was no such thing. But there is a handset which Krishna has placed in our heart. Everybody's heart, there is a handset. You don't have to pay for it. And his network never fails. Outage nahi hote usme. Nothing will happen, nothing will go wrong. There the only problem is if you don't operate it, you will not get the message. You have to operate it. That means you have to be aware of Krishna. Be aware. That awareness is known as consciousness. This is the simple meaning of being Krishna conscious. You should be aware of your true self, that I am not the body, I am the soul. Then if you are the soul, then who is the super soul? Krishna is the super soul. He has connection to every other soul. That is why we also perform Shraddha. What do you perform Shraddha for? For your ancestors. You are grateful to them for what they have given you. If nothing, for at least the body that you have, your mother and father have given you that. So for that, how do you repay them? You offer them something on the day of the Shraddha. And how do you offer it? You offer it to Vishnu. That is also another meaning. Yagnartat karmano, anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanat. So if you offer it to Vishnu, Vishnu knows who is where. In this condition, today, where is your ancestors? He knows. He will transfer the benefit to that. You go and deposit money in the local bank and your relative is in US. What happens? You pay in rupees, there they get in dollars. Foreign exchange is taken care by the Reserve Bank of India. That is not your headache. Similarly, Vishnu is the Reserve Bank. He will take care of everything. You have to mention the destination, notify it, and it will reach. How will it reach? See, all of us are sitting here. Who were we in the last life? We don't know. But we might have been somebody's mother, father, whatever we were. If they have done Shraddha, then what happens? And if they have extended some benefit to us, that can come to us in the way of a spiritual upliftment. Somebody will come and give us a book. Somebody will come and invite us to the temple. Somebody will come and offer us prasad. So that is how the benefit of Shraddha flows. In the present level that we is. Similarly, what we are doing, wherever our ancestors are, we don't know where they are. But wherever they are now, they get the benefit over there. So that is why I said spiritual science is very sophisticated. It has no scope for experimentation. It has no scope for... And the main problem with material science is, you know what? The material scientist wants to be the controller. And in spiritual science we learn God is the controller and we are the controlled. So this is a paradigm shift we have to bring about. What is the paradigm shift? Don't try to be the controller. So long as you are trying to be the controller, you will be put in this material world. You cannot get out because you are still diseased. We should know we have no control. We are subject first of all to the control of time. Everything goes per spick and span as per time. If you are late, you miss the flight. If you are late, you miss the bus. If you are late, you miss the exam. You have to be in time everywhere. Otherwise, you are out. So time controls everything in this material world. And time is an agency of God. And God controls time. So He is the controller and we are the controlled. If you recognize this fact, then that opens a big horizon in front of you. This limited horizon in which we move, I, me and mine. This is egocentric. Mera kya? This is what people ask. You tell them to do something, mera kya? What do I get in this? They are stuck on that. But if you are at least duty conscious, then you go one notch higher. But if you are God conscious, you touch the ceiling. And when you come to that level, then you understand. If you do everything as a sacrifice for God, what is the meaning of sacrifice? What is the meaning of sacrifice? Sacrifice means to give up. That's what we think. But sacrifice also means to make sacred. Make something sacred. Kisi ko pavitra karna. That is also sacrifice. And how does it happen? Anything in contact with Vishnu, the Supreme Personality, automatically gets purified. Take a simple example. On the footpath when we walk, very often you see dirt and stool. If nothing, dogs pass stool and that is lying on the footpath. We have to dodge it and walk. Gives a foul smell. But let it be exposed to the sunlight. What happens? Gets purified. And if it is there for a longer time, it turns into manure, useful, right? In the same way, when constantly we expose our consciousness, ourselves to God, then all the negative qualities in us are gradually subdued, the foul smell goes away, and gradually we get purified. Manure is useful, then we become an useful instrument in the hand of God. Then you become an instrument in God's hand. And when you become an instrument in God's hand, what happens? You are a source of welfare for the society. Rather than being a source of nuisance for the society, it is better to be a source of welfare for the society. That is the social impact. But there is also a spiritual impact. The spiritual impact is you become God conscious. And when you become God conscious, you are not entangled in the reactions of your own work. That means now you are finding your way out of the jail. This world is a jail. Because how are you tied? You are tied by the reactions of your own work. And there are the three modes of material nature. They tie you down. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi. We did that verse. So what is it that is propelling a person when he is not taking an initiative? It has the three modes of material nature which is constantly acting on us. Constantly acting on us. Because that is the nature of this world. This world is made up of the three modes. You can't avoid it. So how to transcend these modes? Transcending these modes means you work for Vishnu. When you begin to work for Vishnu, that means for the Supreme Lord, for His pleasure, then you are not interested in gratifying your senses. This makes a world of difference. And when you are not interested in gratifying your senses, then what happens? You want to please His senses. And when you want to please His senses, what happens? He reciprocates with you. And what is His reciprocation? Mercy. The mercy begins to flow. And then what happens? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayantite. So see, one who is constantly struggling to worship the Supreme Lord, engaging in His services in different ways, either by hearing, or by singing, or by chanting, or by engaging in various devotional services like worshipping the deities and so on and so forth, or preaching mission, whatever it may be, one may be engaged in, but in connection with the Lord, then what happens? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. He says, I give you the intelligence by which to come to me. He supplies the intelligence. So, first you have to make a signal to God. You have to show Him a signal. Yes, I want to come to you. So what do? Utilize the freedom. Everybody has given a free choice in this world. Nobody is forced in any way. God does not force anybody. He gives a free choice. Utilize the freedom of choice to serve Him. And when you begin to do that, then He reciprocates by bestowing His mercy upon you. And that mercy which He bestows is, your intelligence becomes purified. Dadami buddhi yogam. He purifies your intelligence. And with purified intelligence, you can perceive Him. Not with the eyes, but with the eyes of knowledge. And when you perceive Him with the eyes of knowledge, then what happens? You are conscious of Him all the time. When you are conscious of Him, then you will desist from doing sinful activities. Why? Because you know this is right, this is wrong. Discrimination you are able to make. Otherwise, you are deluded. The discrimination is lost. Whenever you open the video, what do you get? Advertisement for what? Mostly rummy, jungly rummy. All these things you must have seen. And immediately what do they say? There is a danger in this. You may get into habit. So, warning. Disclaimer wahin bhi de dete hain. So that is also there. So you know that these are sinful activities. If you indulge in this, what happens? You are actually going down the ladder. So that discrimination, how will you get? That is how you get. By first doing from your side. And when you do from your side, what is that is known as? That is known as sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means doing it as a regulation. You may like it or you may not like it. You may not like to chant, but chant. You may not like to come to the temple, but come. You may not like to take darshan, but take. This is because how children go to school. They don't like to go to school, but they go. Why? Because the parents send them. Why? Beta, पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा, बेटा हमारा बड़ा काम करेगा, isn't it? So they want that. That is the dream of every parent, that my child should progress. So the child follows the parent. So just as you obey your parents when you are a child, as an adult, we are still children on the spiritual platform. So we obey a senior authority, and that authority is Guru, who comes in our life depending upon what we want to choose. If we want to choose spirituality, God provides a Guru. You don't have to search. It will come in course of God's arrangement. And then your progress begins, and then the program is vertical. Because God takes you by elevator. If you climb, you will come by steps. That is your limitation. You can only climb by steps, but God has got an elevator. He presses the button and zoom, you go up. That is His That is the benefit of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means it is the mercy of the Lord that pulls you up. And other yogas like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga means it is your own effort. So this is very, very laborious, and that is completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. So you are easily pulled up. It is very, very simple and gladly performed. That means susukham kartum avyayam. Susukham kartum. That means it is easily and joyfully performed. So I think I'll stop here. If you have any questions, we can take. Yeah, just the mic is coming.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the lecture. Prabhuji, from the 9th text, I understood that whatever we do, we dedicate it to the Supreme Lord. So how do we exactly do that? Is there any prescribed method? Like, for example, if we have got a project or a task to do at
See,
the
it's
end.
mentioned there that it has to be done under expert guidance. That is mentioned. Very diligently you have to act and do it under expert guidance. What is that expert guidance? That is Guru. That is how it is done. It cannot be done haphazardly. That is why we have to enter a Guru Shishya Parampara. Only then you can be guided properly. Otherwise, like Arjun was deluded. Arjun said, I am not going to fight against my grandfather, I am not going to fight against my Guru. Krishna said, no, you are fighting against adharma, and whoever is fighting adharma, forget the relationship. See the purpose. So same way, we have to have discrimination, and that we need expert guidance. So that I told you, that also comes by the Lord's arrangement. We don't have to search for it. Everything is provided. The signal is from you. The initiative is from you. You take the initiative. Make the right choice. If you make the right choice, you are on the right path. And if you go wrong, you have the association of devotees. They will correct you. Beta, ye galti ho gaya. Don't do this. I think it is wrong. Consult a senior authority. And things are taken care of. It's a very systematically arranged program by the Lord. We only have to enter it. That's all we need to do. Okay?
Anyone else from Mataji's? Because this is an interactive session, so please feel free. हिंदी में भी बोल सकते हैं प्रभु जी, हिंदी में भी जवाब देंगे. Make it simple and short.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
As you said that we have to leave all the things to the God and do our task. I'm a government servant, so I have left something on the God and thought that it would be done. But in the due course, it was not done, and I have to switch on to some unethical part to accomplish that task on the behalf of government. So it would add to my bad karmas.
See, unethical will definitely add to the bad karmas. That's for no doubt about that. But then, the thing is, much depends upon one's consciousness. If one has done sincerely something in very good consciousness, then the Lord can take care of it. That his intervention is always guaranteed. He will guarantee and he will do that. He takes care. But we can't cheat him. We can justify to ourselves, we can tell something to the people. That is our limitation. Therefore, live to God means, first of all, you have to do your best. See, there are 4 lines. Do your best. That means laziness will not do. Any excuses will not work. Whatever is your duty, leave no stone unturned to perform your duty. That is the first stage. After having done, then leave the rest. Do your best, leave the rest. Leave the rest to whom? Depend on Him. He is there. Behind you, He is always walking in this material world. Please remember, you are never alone. Never are you alone. If you have that consciousness, means you are Krishna conscious. Prabhupada went to US. He was alone. There was nobody to support him. But he struggled very hard and ultimately established Krishna consciousness. It became a big success. It was like a wildfire. It was spreading everywhere. People asked him, how did you manage it alone? He said, I was never alone. My Guru was always with me. That consciousness is required. Guru is only a representative of God. Guru and God are on the same line, the same platform. So, but Guru is not God, but in the same platform. He is representative of God. So if you are having that consciousness, then you are on the safe side. So these things are a little bit complicated sometimes, but if your consciousness is clear, then you are very safe. That is why you need proper guidance, you need association of devotees, then things will fall in line. Okay?
Hari Bol Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
Prabhuji, how to believe in karma theory when you find like all the time good people get bad results and the bad people who are enjoying sinful activities, they just enjoy and we don't see that practically in the society. So sometimes you feel it's just hypothetical or really this exists, like it's very difficult to believe.
Actually, whatever we are doing here is like a trailer. This is Bhagavad Gita class. But we also direct you to our specialized classes on Bhagavad Gita, and we start that with a training course known as Journey of Self-Discovery, JOSD. It comprises of 6 sessions, 3 hours each or 2 hours each. In that, one of the topics discussed is why do good things happen to bad people and why do bad things happen to good people. That is explained by the law of karma. We are generally short-sighted. We consider our life to be from our birth to our death, but that is only the present life. This soul has gone through many lives, and therefore the past many lives have accumulated karma and they can suddenly pop up somewhere. So now you may be very good, but some past karma can crop up. And therefore, when you start working in this consciousness, yagnartat karmano anyatra, then what happens? All the karma is taken care of. That is the beauty of it. Because God is the controller of the karmas, He is the lawmaker, and He can modify the law according to individual cases. He can tailor make the law for each one. That is His prerogative. That is His privilege. So therefore we worship the Supreme Lord, and when we do that, we are on the safe line. We may have committed a lot of mistakes in the past, but once you begin to repent, once you begin to surrender, remember one thing. We have to surrender to the will of the Lord. That is our only relationship with the Lord. But that surrender has to be voluntary. He doesn't force you to surrender. That He doesn't want. He is not a tyrant. He is a loving father, a loving mother, both. And therefore, when He sees you voluntarily surrendering, He takes over your responsibilities. Even the past life, He can adjust your karmas. That is His privilege that He can do. But we cannot demand it from Him. We should be dependent on Him. That's why do your best, leave the rest, depend on Him to pass the test. So that makes things very simple. We don't have to rack our brains. कौन से साल में कौन से जन्म में मैंने क्या किया था? No. That account Chitragupta is having. वो उनका जिम्मेदारी है. That they will take it. We are not doing that. Here now we focus on our actions and our consciousness. These two things are our guidelines. They take care of us. Hare Krishna. I think it is time for the Kirtan party. Are they here? Yeah. Yeah, but they can come in. They can come in. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.